Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marco and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. In today's video, I'm going to show you how Bitcoin has actually surpassed its all-time high and it's actually broken through $21,000 per Bitcoin at the time of this recording. So there's a lot of macroeconomic factors and there's a lot of store of value factors going on and the reason why this price is exploding. And I'm actually going to get into a lot of those factors through a number of different news articles and tweets, and it's going to be super informative, so I suggest you stay until the end. Before we get into that, very quickly, if you haven't already, sign up for my school, Whiteboard Finance University. It's basically going to take you from Finance 101, being financially illiterate or knowing very little about finance, to completely understanding money, how it works, and how to build your wealth over time. Your grandkids will thank you. That's my pitch. So let's get right into it. So Bitcoin right now has surpassed $21,143 per Bitcoin, reaching its all-time high. You can see here at the all-time chart, the last time it was this high was a couple weeks ago, and before that was basically 2017 during the big bull run. There's a lot of different reasons why it's blasting through its all-time high right now, and we're going to get into that right now. So a lot of these are going to be tweets, a lot of these are going to be news articles, but we start here with Nick Carter. If you don't know who Nick is, he's very smart. He's an excellent writer, and he has a lot of good pieces on Bitcoin and ultimately why he is a huge Bitcoiner for the long run. So this tweet right here says, the most sophisticated macro funds in the world are buying Bitcoin, not out of excitement, but out of prudence. This is fact. Lynn Alden then followed up here in the bottom left. She is super smart. I follow her blog. I've been reading her stuff for over a year now. She's one of the biggest macro brains that I know out there. And if you want to get caught up on macroeconomics, I highly suggest you follow her. She basically was consulting with a European fund the other day and suggested a Bitcoin position, and they basically just brushed it off and said, yeah, that makes sense. Next topic. It's increasingly a normal asset to have. And to back up my point, the one asset that they really didn't want was nominally negative yielding bonds and cash. That goes back to my savers are losers videos. I've been making those for months now. Given the state of the interest rate and zero interest rate policy and even negative interest rate policy, cash is trash right now, which goes back to this narrative. So this was big news last week. Another reason why Bitcoin is hitting its all-time high is that MassMutual invested $100 million in Bitcoin last week. Keep in mind that this only represents 0.04% of its general investment account, which is pretty much nothing. However, you have to realize that insurance companies, they are super conservative in what they invest in because it's obviously the funds that they will need to conduct their business. So Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company has purchased 100 million Bitcoin for its general investment fund, and they also acquired $5 million in a minority equity stake in NYDIG, a subsidiary of Stoneridge that provides cryptocurrency services to institutions, aka institutional money. Institutional money in the macro picture is a big reason why Bitcoin is hitting its all-time high, and we'll get into more factors later on. So just so you know, MassMutual has been around since 1851, so this investment is not just like some ARK Invest ETF or someone that's been around for a few years. This is a life company, okay? When I worked with Marcus and Millichap, I worked on CMBS, commercial mortgage-backed securities. I worked on Wall Street, and I worked with life companies. Life companies were super conservative underwriting their deals. Next is Dan Tapiero. We can see here that he said, never thought I would see even more bullish news than MassMutual Bitcoin purchase, but the most stead and traditional Northern Trust will become a custodian for cryptocurrency. $13 trillion in assets under custody and $1.3 trillion under management. So basically what he's saying here is Northern Trust, is a custodian, meaning that this will allow the big wall of Wall Street money or big money, institutional money, to enter the space with that custodial opportunity here. So the next one is a video that I want you to watch. It's only about a minute long, but it's super important. This is Scott Menard from Guggenheim. Basically, he's their CIO, their Chief Investment Officer. Guggenheim is one of the biggest funds in the world. You can see here what his thoughts are on Bitcoin and where the price is going to go.
Of course, we made the decision to start allocating toward Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at 10,000. It's a little more challenging with the current price closer to 20,000. Amazing, over a very short period of time, how big of a run-up we've had. But having said that, our fundamental work shows that Bitcoin should be worth about $400,000.
Whoa.
So, we're going to, even if we had the ability to do so today, we're going to monitor the market and see how trading goes on valuation, but ultimately look to buy it.
Scott Minerd, we want to delay the Fed press conference for this comment by you. How do you frame a 400,000 Bitcoin? How do you get from where we are now out to 400,000? Is it just based on scarcity?
Yeah, right, Tom. It's based on the scarcity and relative valuation, such as things like gold as a percentage of GDP.
Okay, so you heard it there. There's a couple different theories about Bitcoin's price. Some people are saying that it's going to eat up gold and become the next true store of value for the digital age. Gold's market cap is in the trillions of dollars. Bitcoin is right around 350 to 400 billion. So people think that if Bitcoin ultimately overtook gold as a store of wealth or a store of value, it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like $500,000 per Bitcoin. It's something crazy. So let's get back to the presentation here. We have Michael Saylor. If you don't know who Michael Saylor is, he is the CEO of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is a publicly traded company who just bought $475 million worth of Bitcoin. And this is his tweet right here. And real quick, before I show you that tweet, look at who your boy follows. Look at who your boy follows. Michael Saylor follows you, a.k.a. me, okay? Real, recognize real. Let's go. Sorry, I had to gloat about that. That's the first time a serious blue check mark followed me in the finance space, which is pretty cool. So he basically said that Bitcoin is the world's best treasury reserve asset and the emerging dominant monetary network. It is the solution to the store of value problem. Ding, ding, ding. That's why I highlighted that. Store of value problem faced by every individual, corporation, and government on Earth. So basically what he's getting at is he's talking about the fiat monetary system. If you have $1 today, it's going to lose purchasing power by roughly 2 to 3% every year. Your dollar becomes 98 cents, so on and so forth. What he's talking about is his company had a lot of cash on its balance sheet, and it didn't want to go into negative yielding bonds. It didn't want to go into 0% or very little percent returns in other assets. So what he did was he took that cash and he invested it into Bitcoin, which I'll show you right here. So you can see here that this is basically the SEC.gov. This is their Form 8K MicroStrategy. And what I highlighted down here in green, hopefully you can read this. Basically, on December 4th, they acquired $50 million worth of Bitcoin. And basically, at the time of December 4th, the company holds approximately 40,824 Bitcoins that were acquired at an aggregate purchase price of $475 million. You can see that right there. So moving on, this is a funny meme by Ramp Capital. Check this out.
Okay. Oh, we got the Jimmy.
He
we
was
got
in
the
his
nice
bag
Jimmy
here.
between the legs.
Here we
has
go.
the pull up.
Get that out of here. So this is Bitcoin.
Smackdown.
What's up?
There's no video.
So that's basically Bitcoin, beating up Ramp Capital, by the way, funny account. If you don't follow them, check them out. That's basically Bitcoin, blocking the shot of gold as, the world's not reserve currency, but basically store of value, if you will. So let's move on here. Michael Goldstein, this is a hilarious meme. But the problem is I can't turn the volume up because it's a copywritten song playing in the background, but I highly advise you to go look at this. This is the 60 Minutes interview with Neil Kashkari from a few months back from the Fed. Basically, this guy's asking him, so you just printed $3 trillion, can you just do this at will? You have the ability to print unlimited amounts of money, right? And Neil Kashkari's like, yeah, that's what we do. So this video is it's hilarious. Please watch this. It's gold. I just don't want to play it because I can't play the sound. And then a couple more things just to end out this video. Michael Saylor said, gradually, then suddenly, thoughtful investors will realize that the riskiest decision they can make is to ignore or under-allocate to Bitcoin. A decision to invest 1% in Bitcoin is a decision to underperform, increase risk, or destroy wealth in the other 99% of the portfolio. So basically, if you take a look at this chart right here, it may be kind of hard to read if you're on a cell phone, but turn your phone sideways, check this out. This is basically asset class returns over the last 10 years as of December 11th, 2020. If you look all the way to the right, I think my face is covering it up, but that's basically the annualized rate of return. Basically, you have commodities over the last 10 years losing 6%, and then everything above that is higher and higher in terms of annualized return. Bitcoin being the most at 203%, with NASDAQ QQQ, that ETF, coming in at second at 20%. So the reason I'm showing you this is because it's important to understand where all these asset classes have been and what they've done over the past 10 years. And I think it's important to have a well-diversified portfolio. But to Michael Saylor's point, you may want to allocate more than just 1%. So it's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do that. Me personally, my goal is to have 10% of my net worth in Bitcoin. My cost basis is under $5,000 right now. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm at like 400% returns. But you know, it's a volatile asset. So real quick, the one thing I wanted to show you was a tweet of my own. This is basically saying that Michael Saylor is pulling the ultimate 4D chess move by selling $400 million in convertible notes. If you didn't see this, MicroStrategy also came out just a couple weeks ago offering $400 million in convertible notes, and basically those mature starting in December of 2023. Okay, so he's giving up his notes in exchange for return to these investors, and what he's planning on doing, or what everyone thinks he's planning on doing, is basically taking this $400 million, and I think he's actually upped it to $600 million after this recording, or excuse me, after this tweet. And basically, he's going to buy Bitcoin with it. So what my tweet said is $400 million in convertible notes denominated in soft money, aka US dollars, fiat US dollars, not backed by anything, and using it to buy Bitcoin, hard money. Okay. So if you don't know the difference between hard money and soft money or easy money, basically Bitcoin has to be mined, it has to be verified, it's on a network, it has a network effect. Fiat money, they literally just printed $3 trillion with a click of a mouse button. So it's easy money, it's soft money, it's easy money to be brought into the system. So a couple last things. This is what we call a speculative attack. So this was written by Pierre Rochard in 2014. I highly suggest you read this article in its entirety. But what I wanted to highlight here, and to actually highlight what Michael Saylor is doing with those convertible notes, is basically this. How leveraged someone's balance sheet is depends on the ratio between assets and liabilities. The appeal of leveraging up or taking on debt increases if people believe that fiat-denominated liabilities are going to decrease in real terms. For example, if they expect inflation to be greater than the interest rate they pay. So for example, if your home mortgage is 1% and you think inflation is going to be at 4%, obviously it makes sense to take on that loan. You're paying back 2020 debt with much higher salary, more money in the system, inflated currency, that kind of a thing. It makes sense to take out debt at a low interest rate. So at that point, it becomes a no-brainer to borrow the weak local currency, aka fiat in this example, using whatever collateral a bank will accept, invest in a strong foreign currency, aka Bitcoin in this example, and pay back the loan later with realized gains, okay? So that was pretty much everything I got for you guys. That is the reason why Bitcoin is reaching new all-time highs. It's a perceived store of value, even better than gold in 2020, is what a lot of people are saying. And then also with infinite money printing or an inflationary monetary system such as US dollars, this is why people are investing in a hard money such as Bitcoin. So I hope this was informative. It took me a long time to put this slide deck together. I know a lot of them were tweets, but I try to be as resourceful and as concise as possible. If you're interested in buying Bitcoin, check out my link below to Coinbase. You get $10 for signing up. I get $10 for signing up after you invest $100. If you want to store it, check out my video and check out the ledger down in the link below. That'll actually teach you how to actually own your keys and own the Bitcoin that you own. I don't recommend buying Bitcoin off of Robinhood because you don't own the keys, not your Bitcoin. So hopefully this was valuable. Please share the video with one friend or share it with 1 million friends. We're living in a very interesting time where technology is the great deflationary power, to where we haven't had this opportunity for this kind of new money such as Bitcoin as we have in the past with just fiat, if you will. So hopefully you got value out of this video. Share it with 1 million people. Check out my university. Peace. Michael Saylor's a legend. Oh, real quick, I'm not going to end the video there. I got to show you my tweets with Michael Saylor, dude. Hold on, real quick. Check this out. I've been making it a point to turn Michael Saylor into Chuck Norris. So every time I see a Michael Saylor, here we go. Michael Saylor was once bitten by a cobra. After a few days of excruciating pain, the cobra passed away. I thought that was funny. I don't care if you don't think it's funny. Peace.